Hello and welcome to the Biofit of Fuzz podcast, season 2, episode 6. What's happening, team? Kyle, how are you? Shannon, what's this? What's the crack? I get to say that now because I have an Irish
Hey,
pal.
I'm very sore today. I'm not gonna lie. It was my first day back in the gym yesterday. My hamstrings are killing me.
Nice. Did you have a full week off? Was it?
I took a week and a half, if I'm honest.
Quite right.
Yeah, just needed the wean back in and actually start liking training again.
Aye, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Kyle, what's happening with you?
Yeah, mate, all good. I took a week off last week as well, but I went back to CrossFit and I've fucked my hand. You can just about see it in the camera.
Oh, wow. That is nasty.
Uh, yeah,
We're doing muscle ups or something. Is that what they're called?
yeah, muscle ups. Like mine's are very regressed muscle ups where I'm doing them from a box. I'm kind of half jumping up onto it and doing it at the moment because I don't have them gymnastic skills. But um, I'll tell you what, the
I've
workout.
seen you feature on the gram.
Oh yeah. To be fair, the class was still going on when she put it up on the gram because I had a message from somebody going, "Oh, the big man doing muscle ups." I'm like, I'm not even done yet. Like, just noticed it. The last part of the workout was bar muscle ups into handstand push ups, and it's the first time since I was at college where I had to do one last rep. It was 15 reps of handstand push ups on the third set of it, and I got to the 14th. I actually couldn't bend my elbows to get the 15th. I was fucking raging. I had to just sit there for about a minute, just going, I just need one rep, but I need to get one. I just couldn't get it. It was awful.
What's how come you started doing CrossFit? What's the reason behind that?
I think, you know what, I went to a class for a laugh. I say a laugh, I just was like, I went to a class with a mate a few months ago, but I couldn't finish the workout and I was dead last and actually realised how shit I am at a lot of things. And I was just like, I'm going to just give it a crack for a while. Because you know that way that we're so used to training when you go to the gym, and there's only so many ways that you can press, you can pull, you can whatever. I've just been so used to doing it and being good at it, and it's fine. It's still a switch off for me, but at the same time, it's been such a long time since I've done a version of fitness that I actually am learning things again and doing things, and
Yeah.
I just can't be honest ticks a box that way. It's also really time efficient in the sense that like if I go to a normal gym, I'll probably end up talking to everybody, and I'll probably spend what should have been an hour and a half, an hour and 40, whereas I go there and it's like 50 minutes to an hour, and I'm actually there and done. But with that said, I'm still doing a lot more in training as well. I'm only kind of doing it once or twice a week just for something different.
Interesting. Aye. I can fully understand your point about wanting to just go into the gym and get it done, and about learning something new as well. When I'm in when I'm in the gym training myself, if I want to learn something new, I'll try it for 2 weeks and then I'll give up because I just don't have the patience to do it, and I don't have somebody that kind of coaching me through it as well. So if I'll use like a clean and jerk for example, if I start to get frustrated, then I'm probably just going to pack it in and stick to what I know.
It's mad how
Tell
bad.
you what, I tell you what. Sorry, on you go, on you go.
I was just gonna say it's mad how bad. Like I look around and like I've done cleans before. Like I used to coach cleans a fair bit, but see when you don't do it, even if you know what to do, like it's just so unnatural. Like I'll go back in to do it, and I'm like I know my hips need to be under the bar quicker, but I'm like they actually aren't moving quick enough to do it, and I'm like I get really frustrated because I'm like if I was watching myself, I know exactly what to say, and I'm trying to do it. It's just not happening as quick as what I want it to do.
Yeah, it always feels different to how it looks as well.
Yeah, 100%.
One thing that I've been really, I don't want to say enjoying because it's still fucking horrendous, but the training for the half marathon, like I'm enjoying the I'm enjoying seeing the improvements and feeling the improvements. My training runs are still horrendous. Every step I take, I'm going, why the fuck did you sign up for this? But after it, you get that runner's high, you get that endorphin rush, dopamine hit, and I feel really good. And I mean, that first time, I think I messaged both of you guys after the very first training run I done, I done 3K. It took me like 36, 37 minutes. I genuinely thought I was going to die. Like my heart was trying to come through my chest. My lungs were on fire. My legs were killing me. I couldn't walk for 3 days after it. Whereas now I'm comfortably doing like 7K in like 43 minutes. So I've added 4K on. And I'm only running an extra 6, 7 minutes. So the improvement's definitely there. It's coming. As we spoke about in the podcast before, like you can gain it very, very quickly if you're strategic in your training and stuff, and not just pounding the pavements day after day, thinking that that's going to help. So I'm enjoying the process of it, but I still hate running. But I'm looking forward to the half to get it ticked off again.
I miss running.
Well, there's a half marathon in Glasgow coming up on the 5th of October.
I can't run with my wee cysts. They're still growing ever
Oh, that's
so much
right.
more. It's
Uh,
actually affecting me more now. And I'm like, just give me the fucking scan, get me the surgery, get me over the line, please.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. What have you been enjoying? What's different about your kind of training or lifestyle, Shannon, that you've been enjoying?
I've been out partying a wee bit more than I usually do. I'm not one for the sesh, which might sound really surprising because anytime anyone meets me at the biofitness nights, I'm the first one that's on it. But that's like the highlight of my nights out usually. So I literally went on a 3 day bender there, and I fully enjoyed it, but I now have the regret of like how much money I've spent, how shy I felt by Monday. I was like, please, someone give me a vegetable. I actually went and got vegetable soup because I was like craving nutrition at that point. I was like, no. My skin has completely flared out. I was chatting to Shannon Shearman. She's the exact same because the two of us were on the 3 day bender together. So yeah, I'm just like, that was probably the most out of whack thing I've done in a while. Enjoyed it, but it's not worth it.
How, here's one because some listeners might feel like weekends like that ruin their progress. How are you getting back on track? Do you ever feel like you were even off track? There's a question.
No, I never really felt like I went off track. I knew this weekend was coming up. I knew how important this weekend was to me as a person because it was Adam's 30th. Now, the day two was unplanned, but you know what? It was the best crack ever up until I got sick.
Mhm.
Um, but then we had Oasis as well. So this weekend to me was going to be like my equivalent of a holiday. This is how I was viewing it. And if I was going on a holiday, I wouldn't be tracking. I wouldn't be too focused on my steps. Bear in mind, I still smash them every single day. Um, and I wouldn't really be feeling guilty because I was there to enjoy the moment, and I did that. But when I see my bank account, I fucking hated life. Hated
Worth it
it.
though. Worth it though. Gonna need to ask Kyle to give you an advance in next month's wage.
Yeah, I'm like, when's payday, sir?
There's no coincidence that she dropped August's invoice the day after she got back. Like,
I was like, sir.
By the way, Kyle, is that the new gear I can see? You want to
Oh, it's
show
stunning.
everybody?
stunning. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, I don't think they blur my background likes it because it keeps on blurring a shoulder out or two. But yeah,
I know, I know. It does look snazzy. I'm looking forward to getting mine through the post.
it's fine.
Black one's nicer, in my opinion.
We're coming across from the 1st to the 8th of September, so I'll bring it across with me.
Yes.
Are we going
That's
on a holiday?
You're not coming, Shannon, on that.
Oh, damn.
That's just an actual holiday to see my family. But
Oh, party pooper.
you're welcome to come, but you'll just be in the back of the car with Rocky, Finn, and Jen because she's getting put in the back of the car as well.
Never, nothing different there. Like, it was like going to High Rocks. I was like, I'm in mom and dad's car with my baby brother Finn, like just going up to Dublin for the day.
Um, I see the way that you lived your weekends just there, Shannon. I was like, I think I used to live most of my weekends like that, and
yeah.
like I don't actually like. It's weird to put myself back in that position because I don't do that anymore. But like, see at the time, I'm like, yeah, genuinely Friday to actually Sunday evening, I would just live the weekend as if that was my entire week, and then you'd feel miserable on Monday Tuesday. The worst I got is I think I remember waking up on Wednesday and I still feel awful. I literally was questioning my entire life. Like, what have I done?
That's why I needed a vegetable on Monday. I was like, someone just give me something. Something that's
Vegetable,
not alcohol related.
vegetable, a glass bottle iron brew, and a rolling square sausage. That's what you need to square you up. Aye.
Controversial.
Those,
Controversial here. So over here, when you ask for a roll, it comes out as a baguette rather than a bap, which absolutely fries my brain. But they're so used to
Yeah,
it.
because you need to ask for a breakfast bap. If you're asking for a breakfast roll, it's a bread roll.
No, but
fuck off.
Get your culture right.
Shannon, I love how you went. If you ask for a breakfast roll, it's a bread roll. You've just said the same thing twice there. Really, it's a fucking baguette. We're not in France, mate. But we don't need that.
Fucking.
Yeah, but like a bap's a bap, like.
Nah. Remember, English is our language. We brought it to use.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not really too happy about it,
No,
hence why we're trying to like,
I'm joking.
bring back the Irish language, free
Um,
kneecap, all that jazz
I,
right now.
I am no, I'm not having that roll being a baguette. That's not how it works. We have a company over here called Morton's, right? Morton's rolls are the most fucking elite breakfast roll. Anybody that says otherwise can fuck off. Move to Ireland for all I care. They are the most elite rolls, breakfast rolls, nice and crispy. And they're fucking rolls. They're not morning baguettes, not Morton's baguettes.
But
yeah.
like a bap's not meant to be crispy, it's meant to be soft.
No, a bap can fuck off as well. A bap, no, it's a roll.
Agreed.
We don't use bap in. Sorry.
I had this argument with
I'm
Jen.
Googling.
Well, literally, you Google a roll, and out of all the images that come up, I think 98 out of the 100 that I counted were BAPs, and two of them were baguettes. So you've got a 98 to 1 ratio, according to Google, that you're wrong. But
I'm not enjoying the bap thing either. It's not something that we use in
Oh,
Glasgow.
I love a wee bread roll with soup. Do you know the little circle ones? That's the first one that came up for me. Oh, that's a delicious roll.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we get into something that's productive this
I've
morning?
just gotten hungry there.
We're fucking sitting recording a podcast while we're all Googling rows so we can prove each other wrong. Any
People
topics?
want.
Shannon,
Yeah.
you had quite an emotional post after your weekend, where you're essentially saying
Yeah.
about your bank account and saying about coaching, people being able to spend that on a weekend but claim they can't afford coaching. Tell me your raw thoughts on that.
Oh, like I don't think it was till probably Tuesday when I was like, right, I have to get this fear of looking at the bank account over because like that, I was living my best life for the weekend. So I was just like, money doesn't exist. Like I can just keep tapping this card away and live my best life. But then I was like, oh, the consequences of what I've done, I need to see. And I shocked myself. I didn't think I spent as much as I did. Obviously, with the tap life, you don't. And what I spent was the equivalent of what 3 months of coaching would be with me. And I was like, holy shit. I spent that without thinking twice about it. I was just out living my best life. And then I just kept thinking, I was like, people do this on the regular. Like, I know people personally that go out on the Friday, the minute work ends, they're out for a few cheeky like drinks after work. They might come home with a takeaway. They might get a bottle of wine then and finish off the Friday night. Saturday, they go out for a bit of lunch with the girls. That can lead into a few cocktails. And then Sundays for the cure. And I'm like, we practically just did the same thing in different orders. Yet each weekend you're doing this without thinking about it, doing anything about it. And then they're the same people and they're the same friends that be like, I can't lose weight and I can't afford a coach. Like that's too pricey. And I'm like, we're just not in the same priorities. Like that nearly shocked me how much I spent. Whereas it doesn't bother you to spend it on that. Like I was literally like, can I go back to the Croke Park and ask for a refund on those €8 pints that I was having, please, because they weren't fucking nice.
Yeah. Gig
Rock Shore
pints. Yeah,
cider's the only cider they did.
gig
That fucks that
pints.
about.
Fuck that. No, gig pints are not the best.
No.
They're definitely not worth €8. What? See, this is something that's always confused me as well. Like when I think about it, I feel like most people have the mindset of I work my ass off all week, therefore I'm going to use the money that I've earned to do something that makes me feel good in the moment, which typically does tend to be a few pints on a Friday night, which then can carry over into the Saturday. And then before you know it, you've pretty much blasted through every penny that you've earned in that week. But they could be of the mindset of, well, I worked for the money and I want to use it on something that I want to do. Does that make sense? Rather than it being like coaching, for example, people, in my experience, people more so feel like they need to lose weight rather than they want to lose weight. Um, So having that kind of block of doing something that you want to do or doing something that you feel like you have to do, people are always going to kind of sway towards doing something they want to do, even though it does cost a bit more money, and it's going to be detrimental to their long-term health. But could that be like a limiting factor in why people don't think coaching is affordable or why they can't afford a coach or why they think it's too much money? Did that make sense what I was trying to say there?
Yeah, no, 100% makes sense. And like we are going to always pick the thing we want to do more than
Mm.
the actual thing. Like if I could get away with just eating croissants every day for the rest of my life, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you better believe I'd do that. But the result of that is I'd be a chunky monkey again, and I don't necessarily want to be a chunky monkey anymore. I'm very happy with how far I've come in that sense. So that's my priorities, but I think I stand by with people's priorities just not being in line with what they really want,
Yeah,
and that's the way I view it. I could be wrong. I'm happy for
yeah.
people to correct me, but that's the way I look at it. I'm like, your priorities are all over the shop.
I agree, and I don't think people are willing to sacrifice what they might have to in order to see the progress that they expect to see or that they want to see, and that's where it kind of starts to go a little bit grey, and people start to get frustrated by coaching, or they feel like it's not working for them, and then what they'll do is they'll spend fucking shout out Slimming World again. They'll spend a tenner a week to go to a Slimming World diet class and feel like that's enough to see progress, and then they'll still splash all their cash at the weekend and booze and have their gin cocktails and stuff like that, and then get really pissed off that they're not seeing that long term progress that they want to see. But I do agree with you, Shannon. I think it is a priority thing as well. For you to see the results that you want to see, you cannot continue to live life the way that you're currently living if it's not benefiting you in the slightest. It's as simple as that. Sacrifices are going to have to be made. And yes, you'll get coaches going, oh, you can live life the way you still live it now. All we need to do is manipulate your calories and stuff like that. Um, whilst that can be right to a certain extent, you're still going to have to make some sacrifices. And it's probably going to come from what you get up to at the weekends because that's probably where you're doing the most damage, realistically. Unless you're slamming two Domino's pizzas every single night of the week, then that's where the damage is being done. But 9 times out of 10, it's days off that's causing the issues. So yeah, dialing it a wee bit back on doing what you want to do more, and just sprinkling in a little bit of doing what you have to see that long-term progress. But yeah, priorities. Get your fucking priorities straight. Stop spending 500 quid in a weekend and then saying you can't afford coaching because it's lies.
Liza Minnelli.
Kyle, what are you going to say?
I think it's a short and long term gratification thing. We need to remember we all are chemical human beings, and when it comes to like short term gratification of buying something, like all wins, I think James Smith said this, all wins feel the same. Like so, when you get that, that's probably the only opportunity some people to actually feel good during the week. Like lots of people work jobs that they don't actually want to work, probably have some relationship problems that they're having to work on because they've really, that's probably in my opinion stems from them not working on themselves and being a great place, but that manifesting in different ways. But then you've got jobs that don't work, they've got stresses in terms of, you've got probably kids sometimes, you've got like hours, unsociable hours, you've probably like there's a lot of stuff going on with people. So we need to look at it and go, some people's only room to breathe is what they do at the weekend. I particularly remember when I was going through probably my height of like abusing food, alcohol, everything else. It was down to the amount of stress I'd taken on. Like I'd taken on a gym and like I was still running an online business, and with that, like I genuinely couldn't switch my brain off, and the only time I could breathe was like when it came to 9 o'clock on a Friday night, and that was the first time all week where my brain wasn't having to go a million miles an hour, but I couldn't stop it, and it's just the easiest thing to do was to have a few pints, which then led into me feeling miserable on Monday, which often then led to me trying to seek something to make me feel better, whether that be football, drinks, whatever. It was you do go into that cycle, and whilst you kind of knowingly are going into the cycle, you're also unknowingly going into it, and then you tell yourself every week that you're going to fix it, you're going to fix it, you're going to fix it, and then it just becomes the same cycle because you're not actually changing anything. But it's funny you mentioned about Domino's. I had a guy when I used to PT who was paying me, and he paid me for like the first 2 months, all going well. Third month came, he was like, "Oh, I'm running a bit late with the payment, whatever." Like coming up to the fourth month, I was like, still nothing come through. Fourth month starting into a new block. I'm like, right, this guy's not paid me at all. He's coaching his wife as well, and she's like, he's fucking eating a Domino's pizza every single night. Like genuinely having a Domino's. Just when you mentioned Domino's, he's like having a Domino's pizza every night. And at the time, this was quite early on in my PT career. Like I was like, I can't afford the fucking Domino's pizza like a week, never mind a night at the moment. This guy's turning up for like sessions, but also then spending his money on a Domino's pizza. But turns out that like he's got really bad issues with binging, and he can't like he associates those foods with comfort, and his life was so stressful that that's what it was. It's not that he didn't want the results, it's just the fact that he couldn't give up what made him comfortable. And I think there is a balance of things need to change for things to change, but there is a direct line in terms of what you invest in and your priorities. Like full transparency, like I'd probably buy myself like 100 quid's worth of clothes a year. Like genuinely less than that sometimes. It's usually just because I get to the point where the clothes I'm wearing is like fucking holes in them and stuff, and I just can't. I think the t-shirt I'm wearing I got in Turkey. Yes, mate, Turkey 2015. That's where I got that 10 years wearing that t-shirt.
Excellent.
I put a post up about this. I genuinely don't buy myself anything like that, but I wouldn't think twice about going out a shop and buying myself some decent food. Like genuinely, people moan about the prices of food and stuff. I'm like, I'm not keen for the fact that my shop has gone from 100 quid a week to 200 quid a week because of some war in Ukraine that apparently has affected the prices of creatine and yogurts. But here we are. But like with that said, like I'll have no issue going. Well, that's just the way things need to be for now. I think there is a real big correlation. I could list off examples for days about people that I've spoke to who told me they can't afford things, yet you go on their Instagram stories and they're going on holiday every third week, that they're buying the latest stuff. With a woman last year who told me she couldn't afford it yet, that like again a month later she's got a car in her story that's about 40 grand, and I'm like, right, cool, you've got a 40 grand car, but you're with all the love in the world, you told me you feel miserable about how you wake up in the morning, you can't look at yourself in the mirror, but at least you've got a car that's 40 grand.
I know. It's mad how we don't think twice about how much money we spend on like fast food or convenience food. Um,
And material things just to make us feel better.
Materialistic things for sure. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even to make ourselves feel better. It's for status. It's to make everybody else think that we're doing better than we actually are. Yeah, me and Rachel done this a couple of weeks ago. Like, I think I was buying a pair of shorts and a pair of socks or whatever because I had an event in the gym coming up. Um, and she was like, "Can we really afford that? 30 quid for them both or whatever it was. Can we really afford that?" And then had no issues when I suggested getting a Burger King, which was 25 quid. Do you know what I mean? There was
Fiver
no,
in the difference type of thing, yeah.
yeah, five in the difference, but there was no pushback. Like there was no, oh, can we really afford a Burger King? It was, yeah, I'd eat a Burger King, even though the difference in price was 5 quid. Now I'm going to be able to wear those shorts and those socks. Maybe not for the next 10 year, Kyle, right? But I will get a good wear out of them. That Burger King was done in 10 minutes. Gone like that, 25 quid. We're never going to see that again. Whereas the shorts and the socks for me was a bit of an investment. Do you know what I mean? But the pushback came on the investment side of things and not the instant gratification side of things. And I think for me, that's what a lot of people's mindsets are like. It's like you said, Kyle, people want that immediate gratification. If they're spending money, they want to feel good now when they spend that money. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's mad how like just so ingrained it is in our thought process and how differently like we're wired. Were you going to say something, Kyle?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I was tempted to put a post up about this, but I didn't know if it was appropriate or not. But fuck it, we're on our own podcast, so I'll talk about it. So, um,
No one can cancel us.
I, this wasn't going to be in the post, but I had a client once who she, for the first time, and bear in mind this is the first time, she'd lost weight and she was actually feeling good about herself. Now she'd done it over a 4 month period, and she dropped. I think it was something like 11 kilos, something like that. And again, bear in mind it's the first time she's actually managed to sustainably lose weight, and again enjoying herself while she's doing it. But she did turn around to me in the conversation and went, "I just resent paying the money for it." And at that point, I was kind of like, well, I can't convince you any more than what we're already doing. Like, that is what it is. This is the same girl as well who is notorious for going out every weekend, goes out for the bougie breakfasts. You see them on Instagram constantly, whatever. I'm like, she's constantly going into the shop. You see in the shopping centre all the time, just buying stuff. I'm like, right, cool. I didn't really want to convince her otherwise, but in my head, I'm going, well, what's the cost of you not doing it? Like, genuinely, like, if you don't do it, what does that then look like? So we're now talking. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to actually name who it was or whatever, just in case they happen to be listening, which I very much doubt it. But a couple of years later, seen them, and they're very much struggling. Like, they are went completely regressed. They're now spending money on other things to try and source, like, getting into shape again. Still admitted struggle to pay money, but actually regrets leaving themselves. But I'm like, it was very clear then the cost of them not investing in themselves has cost them every day they're waking up. And it's not getting better, it's getting worse. They don't know how to control it. They're now going for a point where they're like trying to go into every crash diet and every gym and every exercise session. And you go, well, what is the cost of you not investing? And the point of my post was actually going, if I actually dial it back to when I invested in a coach getting photo shoot condition, if I look at it, like, I totaled up the numbers. I think I spent 2.5 to 3 grand worth of coaching at that point. And like, I, in air quotes, know what to do. It wasn't a case of knowing what to do. It was a case of actually investing in yourself, holding somebody, getting to hold them accountable to you. But it does translate. If somebody's investing that money into themselves, you do see it. I'm not saying that everybody has 2.5 to 3 grand to invest in themselves, but if you're telling yourself that you don't have and can't make a couple £100 to literally change your life, but you're also going out at the weekends, spending it, going out several times a week, eating whatever it is, buying designer stuff, you're like, fucking, you can just need to actually have a look at what we are prioritising here.
Yeah, 100%. And it was the same when I came on board with you, Kyle. This is why I've taken a job, by the way. I'm taking all my money back off, you know. No, so when I invested in a coach, Kyle, people would say to me, "But you're a PT," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what to do, but I need someone to hold me accountable. Plus, I'm of the mindset that if I'm spending money on it, I'm fucking going to use it. Do you know what I mean?
Amen.
I'm investing in this, and I know that if I put money on the line to improve my health, I'm going to improve my health because I've been the way I've been brought up is um basically my mindset is I don't like wasting money. Right? Rachel will say otherwise. She would say I fucking buy a lot of shit for the house and stuff like that, but it's all investments. It's all investments. But
You'll find a
if I'm putting,
purpose.
yeah, exactly. If I'm putting a couple of £100 on the line every single month and I'm not doing anything to improve my health, then that's a me issue. That's a mindset issue. That's a priority issue. But because I am putting money on the line, then I am going to go out of my way to make sure that I make the most of that 200, however many, £250 every single month. I am purposely going to do what I have to do to make sure I'm getting the most out of every single fucking penny. If that means phoning Kyle at 2 o'clock in the morning because I've had a meltdown and I've had a few beers, then so fucking be it.
You mightn't get him, but you do it
Aye, aye.
I'm going to throw it out there for
before
anybody.
people start thinking you can ring Kyle at 2 o'clock. He doesn't even answer the front door when I come sometimes.
That.
Don't do it.
Two things to be clear on this. Don't turn up at my front door. And secondly to that, you can phone me at 2 in the morning. My phone goes on do not disturb. It's just you're not going to get answered. It's fine.
I could be giving this guy a lift somewhere and I'm like, I'm outside. It could be about 10 minutes before he comes out. He's like, oh fuck, I have to go nearer now.
True. Um, I was going to say something there, but I've completely lost my train of thought there. So
Was it about me saying, speaking about investing in myself and making sure I get the most out of it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I actually like an example of someone who I think sometimes you look at when we speak to people, there is a large risk factor involved. There's a risk factor to everything. I think with that, there's no. Sometimes when people have tried so many things, it's like I don't really want to give another thing a go because I kind of feel like I've tried it all and they're all the same. And it's like
yeah,
when we talk about like boil it down. It really does come down to your movement. It comes down to your training. It comes down to your nutrition. No matter what MD says, and you can fucking try and fancy that up as much as you can, whatever. It just comes down to how you make that applicable to somebody's life, but that's where the coaching is. But I think a lot of the time people either think there's something magical that's been missing because they've tried to do that, but they've just not done it well. And usually I often think people are their own problem with this, where they tend to go and choose something that's really cheap, like a group training program, or they try to do some form of app, or they try to even go about it the wrong way, where they might have tried to go to like a PT or something like that. And there's no shade on any of them because I think some of them can work in context and can work when put in place properly. But often when your problem is like, for instance, weight loss, fat loss, wanting to look better in your body composition, those things don't actually solve that. So it's often one of those ones that they'll pay money to do that, realize they didn't get results because there's no individualized coaching to their life, and then they resent pretty much coaching full stop when you're potentially asking them to pay upwards of what they've paid before. It's a bit of a hard one. We had, whilst I don't think he tried any of that stuff before, Niall, who listens and is part of Biofitness, I remember having a conversation with him in November last year and talked to him, and I've told him the price of it, and he's like, I think I'm in, but I do need to get my stuff together, and I'm going to resent you paying that money because I think that's quite steep. I'm like, right, no worries, mate. Fine. I'm not going to convince you to come on board, and I wasn't one of those ones where it was like, when are you going to start? It was like, cool, to wait to the end of January if you want, no issues. Gave him time, wanted them to come in for what he actually came in. To be fair, as you said, Gary, he put the money down and he actually used that as motivation to get his stuff done. And what probably in his head he was going to be there for 2 or 3 months. He's now, what, it's August? I don't know how many months that is into the year, 9 months. And
yeah.
I would say, I was going to say he's loving it. I don't know if that's maybe too strong, but he's definitely enjoying himself anyway. So
Mhm.
he's having a good
And
time.
he's smashing PBs with his running. He's fast as fuck.
He's he is fast. He's lost a substantial amount of weight, and he's starting to get abs coming through. So he'll be getting rubbed in coconut oil and fake tan from me soon. That'll be nice.
Fucking shout out Niall.
um,
Godson.
Still a dickhead, so let's not get too nice about him. But
I would also just like to kind of back that point up as well. Like, see if you do decide to go to an online coach, and you do put the money down, that doesn't automatically guarantee you results, right? Just because you're spending X amount per month, that doesn't then mean that you are 100% guaranteed results, because at the end of the day, us coaches can show you the doors to walk through, but you're the one that has to actually walk through those doors yourself. All right, you do have to put the work in. It's not going to be an easy ride. Whilst the principles of fat loss are very simple: movement, training, nutrition. Applying them to applying them to your life can be a wee bit difficult, and that's what online coaching really fucking helps with. Like, we try and kind of slot things into your life that benefit you in the long run. Yes, as I said, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. It isn't going to be easy, but the reward at the end of it is going to be paramount for you for the rest of your life if you take things on board. But you have to come into it. You have to come into it with an open mind. You might get asked to do something that maybe another coach or maybe you've read online somewhere that you shouldn't do it, and then vice versa. You might come in with a thought process of, right, I need to give up carbs to lose weight. And then we tell you, no, you fucking don't. Like, eat all the carbs, fuel your workouts, fuel your body. So come into it with an open mind as well. But yeah, just reiterating my point, just because you put money on the table does not 100% guarantee your results, because you still have to apply yourself the right way.
Yeah, I agree on this. I find this one sometimes quite difficult to deal with because it's literally taking a horse to water sometimes. Now, 90% of people we get through the door at this point are people who are ready to make a change, and we don't chase people in the door. We're not aggressive in terms of outbound messaging. We need to make sure that like people are a good fit for it and they know what's involved. Hence the reason we get the majority of people in on calls and we speak to them about what they actually want, what they're willing to do, and how that fits to their life to actually make sure it is a good fit for them. Like plenty of times that we've referred people out or maybe said that this isn't the right thing for you because I wholeheartedly don't think that this is for everybody. But what I would say is it's for anyone who is really willing to make changes and they want to see the changes for life. And if you're willing to put in the effort, and I'm not saying the effort, which is a lot of places I think we've been fucked over a little bit with, oh, you're just not working hard enough, you're not doing enough. And if you're turning up somewhere that's telling you to train 6 days a week and eat chicken and broccoli and then makes you feel terrible for it, then that's not really what we're doing. If anything, what we do is meet you where you are at the moment, and give you a plan and program for where you are at the moment, but also make sure that like things when the boat gets rocked, that you know how to adapt to that rather than just telling you it's your fault and you're not making time for it, because that's very rarely the case. That is the case in some instances, but it's very rarely the case with the majority of people.
Yeah. 100% agree, mate. 100% agree. There was another point that I was going to make, but I've done a Kyle and I've got sidetracked, and my thought process is a bit fucked. If it comes back to me, I'll just randomly shout it out.
Put your hand up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fuck. I know. Oh, it's going to bug me now. Sorry. Move
Question.
on.
Ask
Yes.
Question.
Do people avoid investing in coaching because deep down they don't believe they're worth it?
Um, Fuck, that's deep, isn't it?
That's deep.
I In some instances, the answer could be yes, but I think in most instances, the answer is no. I don't think it's because they don't believe that they're worth it. I think it is because they don't believe that the coaching is worth the cost. And that's what we just covered there. People might think that it's a wee bit steep, but I don't think on a deep, deep level that it is because they don't think they are worth it. The majority of the time. Does that make sense? I think it all comes down to them seeing it as that's a lot of money for just giving me a training plan and calories. When we know that it's a lot more than that, but I think that's the mindset that people would tend to have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, usually people do have that mindset that that's all you do, but like there's a lot deeper roots, and most people will know how deep it goes. Sure, Kyle, I always say, is my personal therapist and diary at this
Yeah.
point. Like Kyle knows things probably quicker than Adam would sometimes. Like there's a lot more to coaching than just a meal plan and that. But when I think of myself and when I first started out with coaching, I would agree with Kyle in the sense that I didn't think I was worth putting the investment into. And I was like, if I put this money down and I fail, that's another thing I failed at. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that because I don't like failure either. Like I have a complex thing with it. So I would say there is a deeper root to it, but I do think more of the obnoxious side of people would just be like, oh, sure, they just put meal plans together. Anyone can do that. AI can do that for you. And I'm like, right, you haven't a fucking Scooby Doo about anything. You're just arrogant in the way you're thinking. But I think a lot of people that are probably in a deeper sadness might just think they're not worth that investment.
Yeah,
There's not anything. So I think we at this stage are probably the wrong three people to ask, because I think all three of us have backed ourselves to make changes, like, albeit there's different points to the journey, but I think we've all backed ourselves to make changes and come through the other side. Whereas a lot of people, when they get involved, it's more of a cry for help and they're hoping things will fall into place. But when something goes wrong, they use the weight of everything that's happened in the past to then derail them. So you often find with somebody who doesn't believe that they're worthy of changes, like they'll get a good couple of days in, but then all of a sudden, like something will happen on Friday, and they're so used to the kids coming home and them having a takeaway. Like, imagine turning around
Yeah.
and saying, can't have that. But then your wife, kids, whatever, are away to go and do it without you. You feel isolated. Like, ChatGPT is not going to give you a plan for that, mate. So what happens
yeah,
then?
yeah,
So what? Let's say you get through the first Friday, your willpower is probably, you probably don't feel, this is the thing, you probably don't feel much better for it on the Saturday because you've had to just watch and not feel included. Saturday comes round and all of a sudden you're going to the cinema again. Like, there might be the fact that you normally go for a picnic or something like that, and then you can't do that. You can't get popcorn. Like, you're, that's where most programs will set you up for failure, because it's a case of you need to have a large amount of, like, willpower, and willpower still is something that is like, it's like a muscle, but like it can be trained, but it's also fatigue. So like, you get to that point and all of a sudden you think, I'm worthless because I can't actually do this, and I've failed this so many times before. You might have not had the takeaway on a Friday night, but then all of a sudden the floodgates open on Saturday, and you're hitting yourself with the, oh, I'm just not worth this change. Full stop. It's I, again, try not to get too specific with example, but I had a really tough one last year, and I actually spoke to Kira about this, because I'm like, this, I'm really struggling with this client because they have shown for about a year that they've been dropping a large amount of weight. And we had a conversation at the very start about how they thought they were going to die if they didn't lose the weight because they were carrying that much weight. There was something that happened that kind of set them on a bit of a regression. It was a big life thing, in fairness, trauma hit. It almost put them back to square one, even though they'd lost all of the weight. But I ended up having to ask the question, because they admitted they were lying on their check-ins and stuff and kidding on. Everything was being tracked with their food and kidding on. They were doing their steps. And I kind of called out after maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, look, mate, if we're doing these things, there's absolutely no way that the data we're getting from you is, there's something not right here. Just, can you let me know what's kind of going on? And to be fair, they turned around and went, you must be really good at your job because I have been lying to you the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, it's fair enough, but
yeah,
probably need to ask the question, why are we doing this and whatever. And the only reason that they said that they were continuing is because they thought they were going to let me down. And I'm like, well, the bigger question to be asked is, do you still think that you can change? And they're like, right now, honestly, no. And I was like, I had to speak to Kira about it. I'm like, I'm really stuck here, because every part of me wants to help them, but there's nothing at this point I can do. I've given them absolutely everything I can do. I can't turn up to their house and make them dinner, and even if I do, the moment I stop doing that, they're going to go back. They don't. The key
yeah,
word is they didn't think they were worthy of change in that moment, and realistically, had to kind of not outsource them. We had to pretty much say to them to go and use the money to go and get therapy rather than
mhm,
deal with that at my side of things. So there are genuinely people who can look you in the eye and tell you they want it. And the thing is, they just don't deep down believe that they're worthy of change, because there's no point in their life that they've seen there's change, and there's points probably with childhood trauma and everything else have not been shown that they are worthy of that, which is really sad.
yeah. And I think that's the difference. That's a big difference from like us as coaches, biofitness, and other coaches that have got large group coaching and they just want you into a cookie cutter program. They don't really care about where you're at, headspace wise. And then I'm not tarring everybody with the same brush. Please don't think I'm doing this. But a lot of coaches online just want you into a large group where they're taking a monthly fee from you, giving you a chat GPT program, and then just leaving you to your own devices, not offering you that help on a much deeper level. The reason our coaching costs what it does is because myself and Kyle have got 10 plus years experience in this industry. Shannon, you're coming up a couple of years, is that right?
And I bring
Um,
banter.
and she brings banter, and we don't just coach you guys on we don't just coach you guys kind of face value. We don't just give you calories and a training plan and then leave you to your own devices. Like, there's been times when I've actually said to somebody, both in person and online, um, just I've noticed a few things that's been happening, kind of like you, Kyle, over a couple of weeks, and I've not called them out such, but I've asked them like, do you feel a certain way, or do you do a certain thing at a certain time of day, or when you're doing X, does it make you feel like Y? And a few of the times people have said to me, how the fuck did you know that? And it's because I'm observant. I'm fucking good at what I do, and that is invaluable when it comes to coaching. We have to be observant. We have to listen to what everybody's saying. We have to take things on board, and we have to see it from their point of view as well, which is very, very fucking important. We have to see it from the client's point of view as well. If we are just of the mindset of you don't want it enough, you obviously don't want it enough, you're not working hard enough, then we're going to struggle to be compassionate. We're going to struggle to have empathy. We're going to struggle to actually coach the person as a fucking human being. And that is why our coaching is what it is in terms of cost, because it is a lot more than a training program and a fucking nutrition plan. It is actual coaching.
I,
Apologies, I feel like I got a wee bit passionate
Mind
there.
and body.
Yes.
I don't think you can be the cheapest and the best at the same time because that doesn't
Yeah.
correlate. And I'm also going to throw out for anybody who's listening not to be off-putting about it. Our coaching prices are still very on the lower side compared to like most other coaching, which is I've been told time and time again by every mentor that I've had that you're far too cheap. And I was like, I
Yeah.
agree. We do we over deliver and undervalue it. That's probably not always going to be the way, but like genuinely there's not a person that comes through the door who's willing to do what needs to be done, who doesn't come away going, I had a fucking great time there. So that's a big thing. I do like I know I said it in the podcast a few weeks ago, or whatever, but like it does. There is a correlation between like your number of what you. It's like I don't know if you ever watched the Newcastle documentary where there is a correlation between the wages spent on players and how high you kind of foot the go you are up the table, so your position in the table. And it's like I found that fascinating. Going like no matter what way you look at it, study and study and study again, as you pay your players more, that tends to be
Yeah.
that there'll be whatever. So whatever way that looks, but I also think as well you can tell when somebody has invested in themselves and invested in themselves correctly. And it's like there's no other thing, and this is why I took it away from my coaching example. If somebody said they bought a house and they said that it was like 20 grand for the house, and what I mean, all of us would probably come up with an idea what a 20 grand house looks like. You're probably going, no, you're not getting very fucking much for it, are you? Like, or whatever. But if they turned around and it was a mansion, you'd be like, it doesn't make sense because there's no way that would happen. So there is a correlation between what you spend on something and what you're getting back from it. It's the same with like a car as well. You can do the same thing. There is a correlation between how much to a point you put in yourself and getting something back. But if you're complaining, that my big thing is if you're complaining about not getting results, you don't feel that there's any sort of changes, and you're kind of getting upset about seeing other people doing it, but you're spending absolutely zero on yourself. You're not buying yourself any decent food. You're not actually spending in any form of coaching, or even like it could be simple as a gym membership. If you're not spending anything, then I'm not gonna lie, I think you've got yourself to blame, really. Like
100%. I could not
100%.
agree more. That is fucking mic drop moment right there.
every
Even a pair of good walking shoes, just go for a walk. If you're not going
Yeah.
to do that,
Every
But
part.
you'll go and buy the fucking, what are those fancy glasses now that everyone can like fucking
Or
record and fucking
the
call on?
Ray-Ban fucking Meta glasses.
Get the fuck, like, why are you going around wearing them?
I I had the very last one just to wrap up. I had a guy who he drinks pints every weekend. He's been on to me for 4 years. He messages me around about Christmas time every year because I think he's just overdone it. But it's the same year in, year out. Every Instagram story is just him pints, him pints, him pints. There's obviously a lot going on there. Again, that's somebody that I'm not going to force through the door because I think if you force him through the door, it's realistically it's not going to work. It needs to be on at the time where he's ready. But I did have a call with him at one point. Pretty much said, yeah, pints, whatever. Really need to get myself sorted. He's had somebody in his life, I think, that died as well. When it came to it, he was like, "Oh, I need to think about it." And I was like, "I didn't chase it when I told him." And he's like, "No, I think I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't think I can afford this right now." That's where it goes to. There's a priority issue. He's openly admitted he has 14 pints on a Friday, 8 on a Saturday, and then probably about 10 on a Sunday. I mean, you're talking 40 pints over the course of a weekend. There's no shame on that. Well, not from my side of things, but it's more of a case where you're genuinely talking 40 pints at like at least £6 a pint. I don't know what that works out at, but like you're
Say
200.
a fiver a pint, that's 200 quid.
Yeah, 200 quid just on that, but it did mention takeaways involved there as well, plus whatever else is going on. So you're talking spending a grand and a half a month on that, but sure, that's what it is.
That's insane money. Fucking insane money. Just touching on what Shannon said about like buying new shoes, new walking shoes and stuff like that. See if you are looking to get a wee bit more active. I'm going to just finish up with this point because I do need to shoot off. See if you're looking to get a bit more active or you do want to start in the gym. Genuinely, like buy yourself new shoes or a new gym
Outfit. It
get
works like
up.
a treat.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Honestly, I
have to
know
be
it sounds
dear.
really fucking silly. See when I got my new running shoes last week, I could not fucking wait to go out running. The first time in about 10 years that I've been excited to run, and it all came from buying new running shoes. Something as simple as that, something something as investing such a small amount into yourself can have a massive impact. So buy yourself some new walking shoes, buy yourself a new gym get up. Honestly, it works an absolute fucking treat. Same like Kyle. Last time you bought new football boots, I guarantee you couldn't wait to go out and kick a ball.
It was like Christmas Day.
You're taking me back to before my hip injury when I could play football, Gary. But yeah,
But genuinely, do you know what I mean? Like new football boots, fucking can't wait to put these on and go and kick a ball about. It has such a positive impact mentally that it makes such a big difference physically.
I think just to go full circle on this, when you buy new running shoes, what that does is it gives you the potential to be better at running and enjoy running more. What most people view that as is they'll not do the fucking running for you. You don't buy running shoes and all of a sudden running shoes go out and do a 10K without you and it counts. Like you need to go and put them on and do it. And that's the same as coaching. We are the running shoes. Like we can help you, but we can't do it for you. But with that, Shannon, where can they find you?
Dan_biofitness.
Gary,
Kyle, where can they find you?
oh, fuck,
Oh, yes, Shannon.
should remember. Should never
I'm
remember.
on.
Kyle_biofitness.
Surprise.
And Gary, where can they find you?
Gary_biofitness. Thank you, Dave and Toby, for the music. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and see you all next week.
Good night, God.
Bye.
Bye.